That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Let's wrap up this week with the trade of Princess Leia. This was a mini series that was coming out last year in the whole Marvel Star Wars book line, and Princess Leia got her own mini series basically, and this is the collected version of that. What's the premise behind it? Well, in Star Wars Episode 4, the Death Star blows up Alderaan, which is Princess Leia's home planet, and now she's in the rebellion still and all that stuff. But the Empire is now hunting down survivors of Alderaan, people from Alderaan who were on other planets at the time and stuff like that. So that actually makes sense, and because they fear that they'll go join the Resistance since their home planet just got blown up, which makes me question the usefulness of the Death Star if you're just going to go around blowing up planets with it, and that was supposed to keep the galaxy in check via fear. Well, anytime you blow up any planet in such a widely diverse universe in which there are, large populations of different species on planets halfway across the galaxy, well, couldn't you just, wouldn't you just be creating enemies every time you're doing it? Just fueling the rebellion every time you use the Death Star. Anyway, well, I guess the point is that you're not supposed to have to use the Death Star. So yeah, you got the whole premise of that's what the Empire's game is, and Leia's game is that she needs to go in and save all of them because she's the last royal she's the last princess of Alderaan. That's a good name for a Princess Leia book. That's what this should be called, not Star Wars Princess Leia, Star Wars The Last Princess of Alderaan. That's a fantastic title. Excuse me while I go call Marvel and give them a better title for when they eventually reprint this book. Anyway. So the premise certainly makes sense. The problem is it's not very good. Leia's got a bodyguard, and, people of Alderaan think she's stuck up or that she doesn't really care about her family, and there are people that have all died that she just cares about the rebellion, and that stuff I don't find particularly interesting. And there's this issue of the fact that she hasn't grieved properly for her family or for her people, and they never really go anywhere with that. She says that she doesn't have time to grieve, that she has to, that grieving isn't productive, that she has to be protecting her people right now. And maybe they did something with that in the main Star Wars book. I haven't been reading that. But this just, it's not particularly good. I didn't really get invested in this book until the last issue, and it's just one speech in the last issue. So like I said, they don't really go anywhere with her, not grieving. She ends up, getting, through her quest, the people of Alderaan surviving, hear about it, and then all decide kind of independently to come together because of it. And then, they're about to be attacked by a Imperial fleet. And so, this is probably the best scene in the entire book. Hold on, let me find it, sorry. Okay, here we go. To every Alderaanian within the sound of my voice, this is Princess Leia Organa. To the newcomers, I would ordinarily be very grateful that you responded to our call for unity, but as things stand today, I wish you hadn't come. An Imperial Star Destroyer is heading in this direction and will reach us within minutes. There is no time to escape by standard lanes, no time to attain hyperspace. It wants to kill the last Alderanians. And without the Asperian fleet on our side, I'm afraid it has enough firepower to do the job. But we will not surrender. We will defend ourselves, but we won't land one more blow than necessary. We are not our enemy. We are Alderaan. We answer rage with wisdom. We answer fear with imagination. We answer war with hope. If one life with a single drop of Alderaanian blood survives, Alderaan survives. If one life with a passion for Alderaanian creativity survives, Alderaan survives. And we are, each of us, important. And whatever happens, I bow to all of you and to our future. And that speech... Oh, man. Excuse me. And that speech inspires the people to fight, and, there's this whole thing about kind of a mixed race living on a planet that kind of cut ties with Alderaan a long time ago. That inspires them to help in the battle and take down the Star Destroyers so that Alderaan can live on. Damn good speech. Not a very good book. It's kind of all over the place. Like, they're trying to... There's a lot of spy shit going on in the Star Wars canon right now. Darth Vader's all spy-y, and so is the Lando book. That was all heist spy-ish kind of stuff, and now this is all spy-ish. Is just this all a big shadow ops book or universe. So this was... Like, there's a lot of spy stuff going on in it that just... It's not nearly as good as the other spy stuff going on in the other books, so it has that to deal with. And it's just kind of directionless. The premise is Leia's going to save Alderaan. She goes and just randomly is gathering people from Alderaan. And you think that there's going to be this whole thing about how she needs to grieve, she needs to take time for herself, she needs to not just be a princess and warrior and a rebel leader, but also to be a human being. Or an Alderaanian, I guess? I don't know. But they don't really give her that time. It's not like after she unites Alderaan under one flag, she unites all the survivors, she goes into the back room and starts crying for her father or anything like that, or for her people. She just kind of goes off and is like, okay, I'm going back to the normal Star Wars book now. Bye. That's pretty much it. I was kind of disappointed by that. I thought it was kind of silly. Maybe that would have contradicted the point, but I don't see why you keep bringing it up if it's not the point. The idea of, oh, well, she's a strong female character, she's a true leader and all that stuff. Yeah, that's fair, and that should certainly be her public face, but there's an old quote from one of the Roman senators about the philosophy of Stoicism. So Stoicism was this idea that, essentially volcanism, that you should never really let emotions guide you in any way, that you should not be a slave to your emotions, that you should only let logic and reason dictate your actions. And one of the Roman senators, who was kind of known as a Stoic, said, that's all true, but we are not statues. And what the intent behind that idea is, reason and logic should be used in making your decisions and planning in your life and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean you're not allowed to grieve. You're not allowed to feel joy. You can still be a Stoic and have emotions. You're just not supposed to let them affect your decision making. And that's an interesting idea. And so I guess I would have preferred them to do something like that, where, she doesn't have time to grieve. She has to save her people. Well, she saved her people. Now she should have a little time to fucking grieve. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the point of the book. If you read it and enjoyed it, please leave it in the comments below if you feel like I've misguided in my assumptions or my analysis of the book. But I just really did not enjoy this one. Yeah, it's bad. I hate to say it, but it is bad. Normally I'll stop it. It's just not good. No, it's actually kind of bad because it doesn't. It sets up a lot of things and it doesn't really go anywhere. Like, her whole mission in this is to unite the people of Alderaan, but she doesn't truly do that. It just kind of happens on its own. She puts out the call and lets people know she's serious about it, but she just kind of sets it up and walks away. She doesn't actively go and recruit every Alderaanian. She doesn't actively do much except save a band and, one girl. And then there's, I don't know, it's all over the place. The people of Alderaan come together in the end, but it's not because of her. She puts the word out, but that's about it. And then she just kind of fucks off at the end of this, which makes it actively worse. She gives this great big speech about how, we're gonna fight, we're gonna be Alderaan, Alderaan will survive, basically. And then it just kind of, just like, peace. Yeah, I didn't much care for it. Kind of a bad book. And that's disappointing, because, it's Princess Leia. It could have been really cool. Any little girl who grew up idolizing Princess Leia won't be disappointed, and Star Wars fans are in for a real treat. GeekedOutNation.com. No, you're really not. It's not particularly good. Sorry. Mark Waid? Really? Mark Waid? What were you doing, Mark Waid? Give me Gail Simone on a Princess Leia book any day.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.